In today's podcast, I will cover the relevant news about Seek Out and Play YouTube channel, what's coming up shortly, a few words about the new hand-to-hand combat rules for Warfighter, and advice on how to start your own wargaming YouTube channel if you desire. Hello and welcome to Speak Out and Play, a monthly podcast that discusses what's happening at the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. And I might as well just get things started off by telling you what I'm working on now as I'm recording this podcast on July 11th, 2023. Right now I'm finishing up the podcast for the Thrilling Tales series, which you may have noticed, starting at the end of July. Thrilling Tales is a radio drama, I guess you can call it that, based on games of Warfighter that I have played. So every fourth Wednesday through the end of the year and from now on, hopefully, will be a Thrilling Tales podcast about different Warfighter missions, as well as other games that I'm going to put in there at a future date, which I will announce later. And I'm also starting the scripting process for videos that I'm going to be producing for the spring 2024 year. And that I really get kicked off on that in August, but I'm already jotting down some ideas about what I'm going to be working on for next spring. And there's other things that I'm working on as well, but they've yet to be started. And by the time the next Speak Out and Play podcast is released, they will be finished, one way or another. So I'm also working on another project. I have not got it in my hands yet, but it will be done, I hope, by the end of the month. I can't speak about it because it's not really for my channel, but what I can say is that if everything goes well, you'll know about it, and I will post about it on Seek Out and Play, and I'll also discuss it next month for the Speak Out and Play podcast. But, as they say in Hollywood, you never claim anything until you see it on the screen. So that's where I'm going to leave it, just to let you know that I'm working on that as well. We're ready to go to the next segment, which is what's coming up for the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. Between the time of this podcast release and the next one, which will be on the third Monday of each month, there will be 5 videos that will make their debut on the YouTube channel, not including the YouTube version of Speak Out and Play. And the videos will cover blocks in Africa. I'm doing a naval combat example from that game, from Vento Novo Games. There will be the Thrilling Tales that's coming out at the end of this month, and it's going to cover a European patrol from the Americans taking on the Germans in a basic mission from Warfighter World War II Europe. At the beginning of next month I'm doing kind of a esoteric kind of video on Britannia. Not really an unboxing, not really an overview, more of what the game is about and what it represents. And I'm also doing a unboxing the following week of the St. Lo Warfighter World War II expansion. And you've seen me do those before, and it's really just I cover all the cards, say what all the cards are, what they do, what the theme of the expansion is to give you an idea of what it's like. And then on the third Wednesday will be an upfront video. I know there's plenty of people that love upfront, and so I'm going to do a video, or I have a video that's going to be posted about the Jungle and Desert rules. Wargames Vault have put out the Jungle and Desert decks, so I'm going to go over the decks and the rules associated with them. Thrilling Tales will be posted on the YouTube channel on the fourth Wednesday of each month, with the podcast that comes out 48 hours before. Now, this series that I'm creating is really a podcast. It's a radio drama, and the video is really more for those who have Warfighter, who enjoy Warfighter and want to see the cards as I'm describing the action. But what it's really about, and the point of the whole series, is to show the immersive aspects of Warfighter to those who have never heard of the game before. I've always believed that, going back to my days of playing Magic the Gathering, that actually seeing the components of the game stops many people from experiencing how it can be immersive. So a person that doesn't play Warfighter, if you show them a video of Warfighter, what they see is the cards and the components and things like that. They're not seeing what's going on in your head, what's going on in your imagination as the game is being played. And that's what this is about. It takes a mission and it turns it into a story. And I use another voice, not my voice, but I use another voice to tell that story, and it has sound effects and all that to kind of bring you into the action of it. So that's the whole purpose. So if you like old-timey radio dramas, the kind of things that dominated radio from the mid-1930s up to the early 1960s, that's kind of what this is like. You can think of it as kind of maybe an audio book as well, but it's really a radio drama is what it is. So the podcast is really for people that may not have even heard of Warfighter, that may not even know about wargaming. And it shows them, as well as everybody else, it shows them as wargamers that this is the immersive aspect and the immersive experience that Warfighter can provide. And there are other games that I will be playing as well using this format. I'm just getting started with it. So I've already actually played the games. I'm writing the scripts, I should say, and fashioning them into stories. So they will improve, I hope, as they go along. But it's a lot of fun to do, and I really enjoy making them. As I mentioned earlier, I shoot my videos way in advance, sometimes several months in advance. Of course, it's not always true because you've probably seen the recent video of Undaunted Battle of Britain Learn to Fly. Now, that was shot shortly after I received the game. I'd had the rules, access to the rules, for months, and I put together a script, and then when I got the game, I made sure that the rules that I had then matched the rules that were in the game, and then created an example, kind of a how to play the game, explaining the concept of Undaunted Battle of Britain, and then providing the turn example, all that stuff from the rule book itself. So that's an exception, but for the most part, I do shoot my videos. Like I said, I'm going to start shooting them in the next month or two, and they will make their big debut, I should say, starting in January through the end of June of next year. And you may wonder, why in the world do I do that? Why don't I just make them and put them out immediately? For one thing, having a once-a-week schedule and putting out the videos on Wednesday gives my channel some regularity. But it also was there to prove a point. I wanted to show that somebody could, within a reasonable amount of time, make a commercial-type video, a video with narration, with different cuts, camera movements, all that stuff, and put it out on a weekly basis. Now, admittedly, the videos are short, but that's still, I'm able to talk about a point and get it done, wrap it up, and put it out there for people to enjoy once a week. And I've been doing it since the first Wednesday of April 2019, and I have videos scheduled through the end of this year, and hopefully by the end of October, I'll have videos scheduled to the end of June of next year. And that's the way it works. And making the videos in advance means that I can shoot several at one time, so that way I can post them and keep my once-a-week schedule. But if something comes up, I can always switch gears, make a new video, put that in its place, and then move the video that was there and move that back. And that's exactly what I did with Undaunted Battle of Britain. I actually replaced another video, which is going to make its debut in November. So, and then I had to move some videos around, but that's okay. That's okay. That's kind of how it works. So now that I'm done with talking about what's happening in the future, let's talk about something that Warfighter fans are interested in. the new hand-to-hand combat rules. On July 12th, I debuted a video on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel that discusses the new updated hand-to-hand rules for Warfighter World War II that are presented in the February 2023 rule book. And the video itself is pretty straightforward. I follow the rules, follow exactly what it says, and I actually show the example that is in the rule book that's used in the updated rules. And hand-to-hand has always been kind of tricky for me in playing Warfighter because, frankly, it's just a lot easier to shoot or blow up the hostiles than it is to go into hand-to-hand with them. And I really like the new rules because they simplify it, they make it more straightforward, and I think it's also going to blend pretty well with the new Warfighter Fantasy, which is going to be coming out, I guess, in August. It looks like it's arriving as I'm recording this podcast in America, and DVG is now going to take it, wrap it, and send it out to all of us. So probably by this time next month, I'll have Warfighter Fantasy in my hands. And, of course, there's going to be videos made about that as well. So, as with all my videos about Warfighter rules, and frankly any video that I discuss rules or anything like that, the goal is not really to be the end-all be-all. I'm not trying to cover all the bases. I'm not trying to explain absolutely everything. I don't think that's the purpose of video anyway. What this is a quick guide, something that you can look at. It refreshes your memory. It shows you basically how the rules work, and then you can take it from there. If you have the rules handy, that makes it even better. And it's like for myself, I have the rules in PDF form that I have on my computer, and so I can punch them up, look at them, and I'm sure you can even look at them on your tablet or phone, and that way you can follow along and go, oh, okay, that's how it works. And that's the whole point of it anyway. So that's how basically hand-to-hand works in Warfighter. Have I made any mistakes? Probably. I'm making mistakes doing this podcast right now, so, hey, mistakes are my middle name. But it gives you a basic idea, a good idea of how hand-to-hand combat works in case you run out of ammo when you're on a mission. Now, when Warfighter Fantasy gets released, I'm not only planning on making some videos about Warfighter Fantasy, but I'm also planning on revamping some of the videos I've made about Warfighter World War II. I'm not going to redo them so much as try to put some together, put some subjects together so people can look at them and get a idea of how certain aspects of Warfighter works. I've already done a compilation video. I think I've already covered all the rules, all the basic rule sections of it. It's a great resource for people to go to by going to the playlist and, selecting one that they want to know a little bit more about. That's what I do, and I'm going to make some new ones. So you can look forward to seeing that. Seek Out and Play has expanded, if you haven't caught on to that yet. Not only are we in the podcast format, but we're also on social media. Check us out on our Facebook and Twitter pages where news of what's happening on the channel, along with behind-the-scenes photos and other interesting tidbits are happening. The links are posted on the current videos going back a few months and for videos that will go into the future. So check out the latest releases for the links that will be coming out every Wednesday. So a new video is released every Wednesday. This Speak Out and Play podcast comes out every third Monday. And the Thrilling Tales podcast comes out every fourth Monday. 48 hours after the Speak Out and Play podcast and Thrilling Tales podcast come out, there will be a YouTube version of both. If you want to support the channel, I also have a Patreon page. There is only one tier. It's just $5 a month. And what that does is it allows you early access to all the videos and podcasts from the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. The videos, which normally come out every Wednesday, are posted 48 hours earlier on the Patreon channel. And the podcast, which includes Speak Out and Play and Thrilling Tales, are posted 72 hours in advance. Your support will help me in sustaining Seek Out and Play so I can bring you the podcast and videos that you enjoy each month. And this section is about how to start your own YouTube channel. I've loved wargaming since I was a teenager, and being able to have my own platform on YouTube and now in podcast form has really helped me to grow an appreciation of this hobby. As vibrant as our community is, it's also still pretty small. And what we need are more voices to express their love of wargaming, and we have the ability to go on YouTube and do that. So if you are someone who is thinking about starting your own YouTube channel, whether it's for wargaming or maybe you have some other endeavor that you would like to let other people know about, then you should ask yourself the following questions. Do you have a camera? Most smartphones and tablets have cameras. If you've got a smartphone and a tablet, you've probably got a camera on you. Also, remember that most computers and laptops have webcams. So if the answer is yes, then the second question is, do you have a way of recording audio? Now, again, a smartphone, a tablet, or your computer usually has an audio input. And that way you have a way of recording audio. Whether you do it separately from the video, like what I do, which is I record my voice separately and add video on top, or you record it at the same time, it doesn't matter. So if you have a way of recording video and audio, then you only need 2 words of advice to start your YouTube channel. Press record. That's it. Just start making videos. Just do it. Getting on YouTube is free. So you're not out any money by getting started. And I think the biggest mistake that many people make, and I know the biggest mistake that I made, at least so far, is that I could have started my YouTube channel a year or more earlier, and I procrastinated and I didn't do it. And there were several reasons why, but none of them were really any good. I should have just got started. And so that's what I'm telling you. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, just get started. Don't make the same mistake that I did. If you have an inkling, if you have a desire to express yourself and make your own videos, then do it. There's a whole YouTube channel out there just waiting for you. Now, you might have noticed that I didn't ask you to buy anything. If you already had a camera and a way to record audio, don't buy anything. Just get started. You know, it may not look great. It may not sound all that great, but the whole point is that you want to get started making videos to find out if this is something that you really want to do, because you don't know. Even I didn't know. Now, I have a background in video production, but even I didn't really know if this was something I wanted to do until I started making 2, 3, 4, 5 videos, and I realized, yes, I really enjoy doing this. And if you start making videos with what you got, and it turns out that after 2, 3, 4, 5 videos, you don't want to do this anymore, well, guess what? You're not out any money, are you? You know, your wallet is still intact. All it cost you was a little bit of time. So instead of maybe sitting on the couch drinking beer, which, you know, I guess that would be a waste right there. But otherwise, at least you know that making videos is not right for you. I mean, if you think about it, how many people do you know, which may or may not include yourself, who've bought like a treadmill or a Bowflex to get themselves into shape, and they think that that investment, all that money that they spent in it, will motivate them to exercise. And then 6 months later, what they've purchased has now become a glorified towel rack. It just doesn't work that way. Motivation doesn't work that way with money. You know, if you spend all that money and you don't exercise, well, why spend all that money on video equipment and lights if it turns out that you don't want to do it? So don't be that person, or at least don't be that person again. Just start with what you got. And then once you know that creating videos is something that you really want to do, then you'll be ready for the next step. And I'm going to cover that next step in my next Speak Out and Play podcast. Now, for those of you that don't have any desire to start a YouTube channel, well, then that's great. Don't do it. I mean, I certainly don't do things that I don't want to do, at least when it comes to my own free time. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you have an idea, if you have a inkling to do it, and you think that you have to purchase a lot of equipment or that it takes a lot of time to do, I can tell you that if you want to do it basically how I do it, it doesn't cost much money and it doesn't take up that much time if you do it right. And wargaming needs more voices. And this is an opportunity to add your voice to our community to help it grow. And that's it for today's Speak Out and Play podcast for July 2023. Thank you for listening. I will be back next month with more news about the channel, more different topics, the second part of my Start a YouTube channel series, and more. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will answer them in the next podcast. You can post the questions in the comments section on YouTube, or you can ask through my Facebook or Twitter account at Seek Out and Play. And I will see you next Wednesday.